Today we'll talk about the teaching of World Englishes, which is quite a recent phenomenon as compared to traditional native variety of English language. World Englishes comprises various varieties of English which exist in various corners of the world where English is spoken in various capacities. And we use English both in public and official domains. The teaching of World Englishes is important for contemporary learners of this language because it can familiarize them with some new additions in this language because of its acculturation and nativization in various parts of the world. The second half of the 20th century saw an amazing development in form of the emergence of a language as a means of communication throughout the world, and we know this language is English language. English by now is considered to be one of the most widely taught, learned and spoken language in the world. Roughly speaking, it has over 3 million native speakers which are living primarily in the countries like UK, USA, Canada, New Zealand, and it also have a larger number, almost 700 million people as second or foreign language users. It means it has a vast majority of world population as its users. The notion of World Englishes help us explain this the phenomena of the spread of English language across the world in the contemporary times, as well as it also help us to highlight various reasons behind this spread and how this spread has accumulated the norms of other cultures where it has gone, and the ways it has added to those cultures or being added by those cultures. So World Englishes is not just a new form of or new variety of English, rather it has to deal with many issues like learners' identity and culture and so on. Catchrew, however, believes that the notion of World Englishes is not reduced to the spread of English only. Rather, it can exist independent of English function as a global language. He believes that the notion of World Englishes include the pluralism or various variations of English which exist in various parts of the world, and those variations which reflect distinct identities and cultural backgrounds of its speakers. World Englishes may also be considered similar to New Englishes. However, we know that New Englishes include the notion that there are few Englishes which are not new, and we know that languages keeps on improving or keeps on changing as time passes. The World Englishes comprises all those varieties of English, local or regional varieties of English which are considered legitimate. It's against the notion that all these varieties are just an interlanguage or erroneous language or wrong language. Rather, it considered all the variations, be it lexical or phonological variations, most of the times as legitimate, and considers them a local variation or local addition to the major English language. And when these variations include a lot of local material and get a distinct form or distinct variety, it is considered to be a new variety. World Englishes belongs to everybody who speaks it. The notion of native speaker is less important, we could say, in World Englishes realm. Rather, we believe that everybody who speaks is or can claim the ownership of World Englishes. The diffusion of English in recent times has resulted into the emergence of three broad categories, and which can be seen in form of the first set. First set include those countries where English has actually its origin, and these are the countries whose speakers claim themselves to be as the native speakers of English. And I've already mentioned these countries are like UK, USA, New Zealand, or Australia. And spread of English in these countries is also largely because of the migration of the people in these countries, because in recent history these countries have been the most developed countries in the world. Second set comprises those varieties of English belonging to the countries where English has a long history, largely because of colonization in the previous century. And we know wherever English-speaking countries went as colonizers, they took along English language as well. The English language has still its roots quite firm in these countries, and we know most of these countries belong to Africa and Asia. India is one example, Pakistan is another, South Africa is yet another example. There are so many examples of such countries. Singapore, Nigeria are also examples of such countries. The third set consists of those countries where English is these days is being taught as a foreign language and is used as a medium of international communication. However, even in these countries, English is getting its roots deeper and is becoming an instrument of identity construction and artistic innovation. And among these countries, we can consider China and Korea could be seen as best examples. Overall, according to Cachorro's division, these three sets can be considered as inner circle, outer circle, and expanding circles of English language speakers.